I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of time to design a new map here in Forge. Every time you start with a map, you want to have a general idea of the concept of what type of map you're going to try and produce. So here we're going to try and do a 4v4 space that has, you know, some interesting encounter areas, but also making sure that you don't have long lines of sight into all of the sections of the map. So we're going to basically put together some obstructions in the middle, and then we're going to build outward from that and just kind of experiment and see what works. So I'm going to start with buildings because we have a few pieces here that are just kind of some predefined areas that are large in scale and give you some separation from certain areas. So we're looking at triple room. I'm not going to use that. You can just kind of place them and delete them very quickly to run through to see what you want to do. So we'll start with this three-way tower here. We're going to drop that down in place and just kind of see what the entrances and exits are. So you can see that there's a rooftop area, there's a mid room, and there's a lower floor. This is 3-tier, so it can get complex if you don't, you know, intentionally try and stay away from that, but we'll use this as a little bit of a basis. I'm gonna go ahead and switch on magnets with magnet snapping. This is a great way for you to just kind of be able to throw pieces together and have them oriented and snapped without having to do too much work. And rotation snapping, we'll put that on 90 degrees so that whenever we place objects, we can actually just kind of reorient them fairly quickly. So now I've got this area that goes around the outside, and I've got a large central object in the middle. So I'm going to want to basically make some pads and some unique structures that will allow me to interconnect some stuff into the upper deck. Mostly it's just that sometimes there are things that you don't anticipate, that once you've mocked them up and got them in and running, that they open up new opportunities for doing certain things that you wouldn't have considered otherwise. So a lot of times it's just best to start building something and then get in and play with it and imagine what you would do in certain spaces when you're actually just actively playing it. You can plan something out on paper, but a lot of times until you have it in, you just don't know what it's going to end up like. You want to try and build the framework of the level before you start working on too many detail elements. Like, we're going to definitely need a lot more line of sight blockers. We're going to definitely need a lot of cover, but you want your path to be set up first so that you don't have to worry about moving around a lot of your cover pieces while you're building it if you change your mind on a certain concept. And while we'd want to do, you know, filling in on the gaps and adding additional lines of sight blocker and some cover, we can get this in and test it now and see just if the generic flow works in a match. As you can see, the initial spawn happened. I picked up the saw. I'm going to run over here, and it looks like it's a saw v saw battle. Bam. And now you'll see he'll respawn at one of the respawn points. Taking that man cannon, worked out. As you can see, the big line of sight blockers prevent, you know, just getting hit from all directions at all times. Thank you for the sword. There definitely needs to be a pass done to remove a lot of the hang-ups, make sure that these points you won't strafe out of and fall out. So putting railings on the outsides, I think that, you know, in general, this stuff would need to be developed, have more pads and routes that go off of there. But at least for a 1v1 map that we're just kind of messing around in, I think it's pretty successful just as a quick throw together map to get the concept in place and to just have fun with friends.